Here's Delaware Governor Jack Markell's weekly message.
Those of us old enough to remember will never forget where we were on September 11, 2001, when a terrorist attack against our nation claimed thousands of lives. We will never forget where we were when we heard the heroism of so many first responders, when we saw the pictures of them rushing headfirst into those burning buildings, when we saw those buildings collapse. It's a date seared in our collective consciousness, memories as fresh today as they were years ago. This year and every year, September 11th is now formally remembered as Patriot Day. Our flags here in Delaware will be lowered as we raise our children's awareness of what happened that day. This Patriot Day will also be a chance here in Delaware to honor other patriots, veterans who in some cases missed when they served years ago, the recognition and honor that we give the members of our armed forces now. As the Commander-in-Chief of Delaware's National Guard, I have had the honor of greeting Guardsmen and women when they first step foot on American soil after brave service all over the world. When they return to Delaware, they return to a state aware of their service and aware of their sacrifice. Hugs from their families, handshakes from strangers, smiles from kids in the neighborhood, and salutes from former soldiers who understand what they've been through. Decades ago, that was not always the case for hundreds of thousands who were volunteered or who were drafted into service during the Vietnam War. This September 11, as we think of those around the world serving our nation, I will sign into law bipartisan legislation that creates a Vietnam Veterans Day on March 30th of every year here in Delaware. State Representatives Bobby Alton, Earl Jakes, and Dave Wilson, and State Senators Joe Booth, George Howard Bunting, and Dory Connor were the original sponsors of the bill, and I think the legislation says it better than I ever could. It is fitting that we extend our admiration and heartfelt gratitude to those servicemen and women who served on the battlefields of Vietnam and returned safely, to those who returned home scarred of body and mind, and to those who were killed or are still missing. It's also critical that we look back and honor that spirit, service, and sacrifice as we work together to keep Delaware moving forward.